guys, James Wilson-Taylor here for Roxanne. It's the latest of our video calls. We've been chatting to everybody while we're all stuck at home at the minute, and I'm delighted to say from Silverstein, Mr. Shane Told is on the line. How are you, Shane?
I'm very well, actually. Thank you for asking.
Good. I'm glad to hear it, man. That's how we've started all these, is to say, I hope you're keeping well, your family, all your loved ones, your bandmates and everything. I guess just generally, before we get into music, how has all this extended time at home been for you, man? How you been occupying your time these last few months?
I've been actually pretty busy. I think at first, we were in the middle of our 20th anniversary tour, and 10 shows in, it was going amazing. Biggest tour we've ever done, selling out the shows. It's like, it's always one of those things in life, right? Where like everything's going so well. It's just like, when's the other shoe going to drop, And it dropped in a big way, not just for us, but for everyone on the planet. So, we got home and felt, I'll be honest, extremely depressed to have this moment kind of taken away and so much uncertainty with what was going to happen, and I think right away I felt this urgency to find a bunch of other things to kind of replace my time, because I didn't feel like I was supposed to be home. I felt like I was still supposed to be on the road. So, I have a podcast that I do that's, been really successful and really great. Actually, it's my this week is my 5-year anniversary of the podcast.
Congratulations. No, that's great. No mean feat right there, man. That's great.
Putting out episode 250.
Wow.
So it's been very, it's been busy anyway, but I ramped that up even more. So, I've been doing a bunch of stuff with that, an extra episode every week, a bunch of bonus stuff. And also I've been getting into Twitch now. I'm not really a gamer, but just that platform is so incredible for music as well. So I've been really filling my time with a whole bunch of, kind of new adventures, really. And, if you ask my girlfriend, she'll tell me I'm busier than I've ever been, because it seems like every day I've got something, on my plate, where it used to be, okay, I'm home from tour, I'm going to chill a little bit. Now it's like, I'm home, I don't have touring, so let's go.
Yeah, no, that's a good attitude to have, man. I think you're in quite a lucky position as well. I've spoken to so many bands over these last few months where people have, like you said, tried to figure out ways to keep busy. You were in a very fortunate position. Like, the podcast was already ready to go. I imagine having done things from home in that way before, it probably made that transition maybe a little bit easier, or at least coming up with ideas maybe a bit easier.
Oh yeah, totally. Like, I already kind of have my flow down. I know what to do. A lot of people decided, oh, well, I'm going to start my own podcast, and I think that's great. I think there should be more podcasts actually, but starting from scratch, people are asking me, so how do you do it? What microphone do I buy? I've acquired my gear and my knowledge over 5 years. So for me, it's, I'm just still going, where a lot of people, they're trying this new stuff, and it can be daunting, and it can be a little bit, it can be difficult. Right. So yeah, for me, it was fine. And, I just really feel for the younger bands, because, I know what it's like to be on, let's say, your first or your second album, right? And you're just starting to pick up some momentum. Maybe you're just starting to make some money. So maybe you can move out of your parents' house and whatever, right? And now all that's gone. These younger bands, they don't own their music at all. They haven't recouped, the money that they owe the label or the merch company, right? They're in debt, and they have no way of making any money right now. And that is scary. There are successful bands that are playing bigger rooms than Silverstein, but because they're young, new bands, they're taking up jobs at Home Depot, or I don't know the English equivalent, a hardware store or a grocery store, because they have to right now, which, is really, I hate to use the word sad, because it's not really sad, but it's just, it's insane. It's completely crazy. So yeah, we're lucky that we're 20 years in. We've made some, moves over the years to where we own some of our music. We have sold a lot of records in the past. So we're able to keep, stay afloat.
Yeah.
I
No, you're
own my
right.
house. Own a house. I don't pay rent, like those kinds of things. I own my car, those kinds of things are really important right now for musicians and younger bands. Man, I really feel for them.
What's been nice, I think, though, is the honesty from younger bands. Because, like you say, this is the reality of the music industry these days, folks. That is the way it is. That is that people make their money through touring, and you can have a really, really nice life as a younger band out there touring. But if the shows don't exist, that's all cut off. And I've really appreciated actually seeing a lot of the bands be very, very honest about that situation in order to encourage people to support them in other ways. You know what I mean? Like whether that's buying merch or whether that's, everyone trying out these new ways of monetizing their content. It's just,
Right.
I don't know. I feel positive for the future before shows come back at least a little bit, because I feel like people want to support a new way and maybe have a bit more of an
Totally.
understanding about how important that is.
Totally. And like, yeah, I mean, with me, I'm completely transparent and I'm an open book, and I don't mind talking about things like money. Like some musicians, they get uncomfortable with that side of, or that, that kind of conversation. I don't. And I'm always willing to talk about it. But, I really, think that all this is done, and I'm being very positive here, is like, they're talking about a vaccine now, right? They're talking about shows coming back, in the near future. And if everything comes back, let's just say as like normal, whatever that's going to be, now we have the knowledge of, hey, here's how like you can put a show on the internet. You can sell a ticket for a virtual concert. This is how you do a merch drop, or whatever these extra ways to make money for a band are. And that hope, that's not going to go anywhere either. Right. So, my positive thinking is that in the long term, this is a bit of a setback right now, but in the long term, maybe we're figuring out more ways to, stay afloat as artists, because, hey, it's never been easy. So any other income sources of income are great for everybody.
No, absolutely. No, it's going to be cool to see those ways that people have adapted continuing. I think it could be very, very interesting, particularly when shows come back alongside it. And then in the meantime, of course, it's all about releasing music, man. And I've got lots to talk to you about. I mean, before we get into Redux 2 and everything, last time we chatted, and my God, it feels like a million years ago now, but it was only earlier this year, if you can believe it,
Oh my God.
was when the last record was coming out, Beautiful Place to Drown. And, I guess you didn't get to tour it as much as you would have liked to,
Oh,
I'm sure, and all this stuff. But you must have been delighted with the reception to that. Like it really went down well with the fans, particularly like the interest in use of different collabs we perhaps didn't expect, all that kind of stuff.
yep.
Talk to me about that fan reaction and the little bit of touring you got to do with those songs.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, I mean, we really liked the record. I mean, we made it and we knew it was a little bit outside our wheelhouse. We tried some things we hadn't tried before. And, I think, when the record was coming out, we were super excited to kind of get that reaction from our fans and see, we were very confident, but, it came out March 6th, 2020, which when people kind of do the math in their head, they realize like literally the record came out and then nobody was talking about anything except for coronavirus. Now it's called COVID-19, right? But at the time, everyone called it coronavirus. And, literally it was probably the worst possible time you could ever put out a record in, like, maybe in the history of the last 100 years. So, it was really funny in that respect. And of course, like, yeah, everything got knocked down. Like, the touring was, after the great runs we had, overseas and then starting out in the US, those were great, but it went away. But yeah, I mean, it was cool to see, all the people getting excited about the new, style that we kind of started on that record, and some of the collaborations, which, they really ran the gamut. We had everything from a guitar virtuoso to, a female rapper, to, people like that still are a little bit outside the box for us, like Pierre from Simple Plan, a good buddy of mine, and then something right in our wheelhouse like Aaron from Under Oath, right? So it was a really cool group of people we had on the record, and I think it's just a little bit sad because I feel like we got a little bit lost in the shuffle, and not because we didn't deliver on the record, just because the world delivered us a pretty massive blow.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's something that everyone I've spoken to recently that's put out a record, even since this all kicked
Yeah.
off. The funny thing will be when shows properly come back, everyone will know the record already, which is not necessarily the case. Normally you're hitting the road just as it's about to come out, or you're previewing new songs just before it's about to be released. Now everyone's going to know every word from every song on the record for the whole tour, right?
Yep. And no bands will know how to play their own songs.
Extended rehearsal periods needed.
So many of these records are getting written in separate rooms, and like, hey, here's a song, right? Like, which, I mean, of course that always takes place a little bit, but I think now it's probably even more so. The idea of bands getting in a room and making a record that was already dying, but now it's like, I think this year didn't happen much at all. But hey, I mean, I think maybe, we can look forward to 2021, maybe shows coming back, or maybe, or for sure, I'd say some great music, because a lot of people had some downtime. A lot of people were probably pretty depressed and sad, which in my experience can make some pretty good music. So I'll take it, man.
We all like some sad vibes. It's all good. It's all good. Nice and cathartic. And I guess you've had a little bit of obviously had some shows at the start of the year and stuff. And then the drive-in thing happened, right? That was able to go ahead in the end, which is great. Like, I know I've seen so many people announce things like that and then things change and not able to do it. Great. You guys were able to make that work. What was the experience like though? Probably quite a unique setup for you guys.
Yeah, it was cool. So we did a drive-in show, and it was near where we live in Canada. As you may or may not know, the Canadian-US border is closed, so nobody can go in or out except for essential travel or whatnot. So it was only for Canadians, and basically this production company, they just have this huge field which holds something like 1,000 cars. And they brought in this massive stage with these like 40-foot screens, and we just got up there and we rocked, man. And people pulled in their cars, and of course there were lots of social distance rules and stuff, but people were creative. They were safe, but they were creative. They were renting U-Haul trucks and moshing in the back of them, or on top of their pickups, or standing up through their sunroofs. Roofs, whichever. It was really rad to see people get excited. And like for us, it was really great too, because for the first time all year, it was like a normal feeling day. And I know a normal feeling day for us is not a normal feeling day for most people, but you get there and you put your stuff on the stage and you do a sound check. And then, we had a little trailer. We're all hanging out backstage and we're talking, and they order food in. Like, these are the things that happen every single day on tour. So for one day, it felt really normal, which was really great. And then of course it felt a little strange going out there and playing to a sea of cars instead of a sea of kids. Right. But, it really was great the way that you just saw the excitement, and of course, like people honking their horns instead of cheering was really, really interesting too. But people came out in droves. We had like way bigger crowd than expected. And, we sold out of all of our merch we made for the event and everything. So, it was really, really a great day. And after that happened, I was like, why don't we do like 10 of these? Like, let's do a drive-in tour. But of course, where we live in Canada, it's starting to get cold. And, it hasn't, where we are now, actually, we had a really warm week, and we haven't had any snow yet or anything, but it's coming. And I don't know how good that would be in wintertime.
Yeah, tricky challenges. Maybe next summer, though, these things might come back if we're not able to go back full scale yet with concerts, because it's such a fun idea. You're going to have to write a song with a big breakdown, man, where there's a space for a car horn. I think that's going to have to happen. Bit of audience participation. That'd be pretty cool.
No, I did. We did the show and we got called back, and I did a couple acoustic songs, and I started with Beatles, Drive My Car. So we could get the beep, 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 beep. Yeah.
Nice.
Just for that part. So, everybody knew it. I didn't know. I'm like, do kids still know the Beatles? Of course, everybody knows.
I think everyone grows up with that, don't they? Yeah.
So maybe, I think definitely like, a car. Maybe we can do like, I'm going to take your idea one step further, like a car horn, and then like chug guitars, but like car crashing sounds in the background. Like, so you can imagine like a automobile circle pit.
Here it is.
What do you
Here it
think,
is.
right?
I mean, this is working
Right?
great. This is it. The new album from Silverstein, Songs for the Drive-In. It's coming soon. Keep your eye out. I'd be into that, man. I'd be into that.
Hardcore drive-in. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it works well. And before we get to that, then, I mean, there's more music to come right here. This is great. Redux 2
Yeah.
coming. Obviously, territory you've kind of worked in before. I'm always curious when it's something like this where you're reworking old songs and kind of putting new spins on things and stuff. What's that decision process like for you? You guys have got a big back catalog. What makes something stand out where you think, I'd like another go at that, or I'd like to take that in a new direction?
Really good question. Yeah. So a little bit of back information for people that might not know. So we did this record called Redux, which we did last year. I guess it came out early last year. So we recorded it, a couple years ago. And the reason we did it pretty much was some of our old recordings, of our classic songs, like whether it's like Smashed Into Pieces or My Heroine, they aren't recorded like the best. Technology's improved a lot. We didn't really know what we were doing. We didn't have a lot of money. So we were able to, like, legally, we were able to go back and record the songs. So we recorded them all pretty much exactly the same. We weren't trying to change them. We were, and it was pretty much my baby. I was like, okay, all the vocal melodies have to be the same. All the drum fills have to be the same. We're like the same tempos, the same keys. Like, we're basically just redoing it, just with better performances, and just better technology, right? So that was the first Redux. So it was super well received. People were really, really excited about it, just because it's nice to have your old favorite songs hold up, like with your new favorite songs, right? In terms of the way they sound. So people were really into that. And we had a little bit of time, this year. We don't need to get into why. We know why. So we got in the studio again, and we just said, okay, well, look, we did the 12 most popular songs already, and we did them the same way. So sure, we could do the next 12 most popular songs like the same way, I guess, but maybe we should do something a little more exciting. So yeah, so we dug deep. We looked into, our back catalog, and not just the first 4 albums on Victory. We looked into some of the newer stuff too, and just said, okay, what can we do to make some of this stuff more interesting? Or which songs did we kind of miss the first time, where we could maybe an update. Doesn't have to be a changing the song or adding anything, just let's just make the song better, or maybe shed a little light on a song that didn't get a lot of attention the first time. There's a song, it's track 2 on Redux 2. It's called You're All I Have. And it's kind of a deep cut from our Shipwreck in the Sand album. And it's one of my favorite songs we've ever written. And our true, super fans, they all love the song, but it wasn't a song that got a lot of, hype or a lot of interest. So, by doing it and putting it track 2 on this, I think it's going to kind of bring that song back. So to be able to have that, that side of things, I think it's really great. And I will add too, we have a really cool mix of old fans and new fans. There's some of our newer fans, they don't really know our old stuff or don't like listen to our old stuff as much. And some of our older fans, like, it's harder for them to get into our new stuff. So I feel like this kind of marries the two a little bit as well. And it came out great. The record's super fun. I love some of the changes we made, and then the updates are great too.
Yeah, it's so nice to be able to revisit things that way. I guess particularly with the first Redux, but also this newer one, it made me think of I don't know if you saw Blackvale Brides re-recorded their debut recently and re-released it. And I chatted to Andy about that, and it's funny, he was saying there were moments where he didn't think he was changing it, but it's like he's changed the live vocal over the years to fit something different and then play around with it. And then he kind of realized when he got in the studio, oh, that is not what I did originally. This is just what I've become accustomed to. Were there any moments like that for you, even on the vocal line, where you're like, I've changed this dramatically?
Oh, there were even lyrics like that.
Oh, wow.
It's funny. Some of the lyrics, like there was a song we did. So we did this album called Short Songs back in 2012, which it was a really fun idea. We recorded 22 songs, 11 covers and 11 originals, all under 90 seconds. And, kind of an ode to our punk rock youth. And there was one of the songs that we thought maybe we could make it longer. So we did, instead of it being like a minute and 20 seconds, we turned it into like a full song. So we added some more lyrics and another verse. And it was cool because it was like an update, it was like able to go back and say, okay, this was what the song was about almost 10 years ago. And now how do I feel about the situation now? So it was cool in that respect. But no, there was one line, it was Screaming Lion. And I was like, what the fuck did I say there? And I went back and I Googled the lyrics, and it wasn't right on the internet. I was like, okay, I don't know what it is, but I know it's not that. And I ended up having to go on to my podcast group, which has a bunch of Silverstein fans in there. And I had to be like, yo, does anyone have the short songs, the liner notes? Can you like take a quick picture of the words to World on Fire? Because I don't remember the words, and I know the ones on the internet are wrong. And sure enough, they were, and I was like, that's the fucking line. There we go. Okay, I got it. So referencing the old versions, I think it's important. I think we did it in some ways to say, oh, okay, well, we came to that conclusion back then. That wasn't a bad idea. Like we'll do that harmony again, or that lead guitar was cool. Or in some ways we said, okay, that was cool. How can we make that part better now with the experience we've gained over, the 20 years of us being in this band? So yeah, it was definitely tons of referencing and stuff, and some surprises for sure of like, oh yeah, like, is that really how it goes? Like, some things are funny too. Like, really, Paul did the same drum fill like 4 times in that song. Why didn't we change the third one at least? But that's that's just the way that you look back on.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, isn't it? That's the fun part, being able to go back through those little things and go, yeah, that's crazy. We did that. Let's mess around again. That's all good fun, man. Yeah, and I think the fans
exactly.
really, really love it and get into it. No, it's a great project to do. And it, of course, begs the question of what's next, man. Every single person I've spoken to has been like, even if it's just little demos and ideas, they are so desperate to get more music out there, to do more stuff. Obviously, this has been taking up a bulk of your time, but have you started thinking about what's next in terms of more new music for you guys too?
Yeah, no. Well, Three Ducks will be coming out in a couple of years, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
We felt like Three Ducks is just the funniest title. We have to use it. But no,
I'm waiting for the Mighty Ducks. I want the Mighty Ducks after that. That's 4. That's number 4, surely. You can have that. There you go.
That's good, man. You got all the ideas today.
I'm always working for you, man. Keeping it up.
When I need something, like, just, I'll be like, dude, just give me I'm going to call you. Just like, dude, give me an outside of the box idea, and you're just going to have it for me. No, man. No, it's weird, because so many bands, they came into this lockdown being like, okay, yeah, it's new record time. Let's go. That's fine. For us, we just put it out, and like we exhausted a lot of ideas, and a lot of, making records for us is not easy. It's tiring, man. And it was our 9th album. Making albums doesn't get easier. It like, I don't care who you are. If bands say it does, I think they're lying, because, it's difficult. Right. So we weren't like, okay, we put out our record March 6th. We were home from tour March 15th or whatever. I wasn't ready to just strap on a guitar and start making demos. So, I think all of us, we kind of chilled for a while. I worked on some other things. The rest of the guys did too. But now, it's been, 8 months, I guess. Now I think we've got a little bit of creativity back. We felt some frustration, of course, from this time. And there's been some demos kicking around. I'll be honest, like nothing yet. Like I could really, like, if I could play you something, I wouldn't really have anything to play you yet. But we're starting to think about that stuff and figuring out what, LP 10 is going to be, which is crazy. 10 records, but we're kicking the tires on some ideas, and, I have a lot of ideas, and I know Paul Mark does too. And we're going to put our heads together soon. And I don't know when a new record will come out. I mean, we'll probably be on the same trajectory we've always been on, which is like pretty much every 2 years we put out a record.
It's exciting, man. No, it's exciting. In the meantime, congrats on being able to put together all these projects and keep things going, like live shows and stuff. It's no mean feat in this year, man. I always respect artists who are trying new stuff and making it work. So congrats on that. Congrats on the record. And yeah, it's just always good to chat to you, man. And I look forward to doing it in person whenever that's allowed and you're allowed to come back to the UK and all that stuff, man.
Of course, man. Anytime. It's good to talk to somebody, you know, like I'm holed up in my basement here and hey, yeah, I'll always like a little bit of communication. That's good for my well-being and my soul. So
yeah.
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, from my living room to yours, man. That's how we do it. That's how we do it.
That was a nice look. Is that a cactus back there? It's good, or a snake plant? I can't tell.
It's a little weird. It's a little weird plant. It's not a cactus. It's going weird shapes, man. I'll be honest with you, but it
kind of looks like it's giving you one of these, to be honest.
I know, right? If any guests really piss me off, I just move slightly to there. Just letting them know. Shane, good to chat to you, man. All right, catch up soon.
You too. All the best.
Cheers.